okay. I am walking home. It's about 3 in the afternoon on my day off, which is a Tuesday. So I did something today that is probably really stupid, but I don't regret it. I'm sorry if I embarrassed anybody, but that's all. So, anyways, sometimes I look at the AI analysis in my videos, and one thing it said is that I don't talk about my history dating. Well, there really isn't a history for me. I changed schools in like the 6th grade. There was another student. We were both really, outliers, I guess. He liked to read also. He was also pretty socially awkward, so we had that in common. We were friends, I thought, and then when I was about 12 and he was about 13, he decided that he loved me and that we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and I didn't really agree, but I went along. We never really did anything to break a commandment, if you get my drift. But he was he had a lot of issues. He was not saved, and that can be a very, very big problem in any kind of relationship. But so he ended up becoming very bitter and angry and resentful as an adult. He made some really bad choices. Last I heard, he was homeless, and he looked me up somehow and wanted to move to Houston to live with me and Ron. That was about 20 years ago. I don't know what happened to him. I don't want to know what happened to him. So that, I guess, would be the first guy. I very, very briefly dated someone in high school who was schizophrenic. I did not know at the time. We went to the mall. That was kind of like the thing to do in our my generation in that county, I guess. You went to the mall if you for a date and get something at the food court, look at the stores and stuff. So we went to the mall. He said he needed some pants and he had some money his parents had given him, and I helped him find something he liked, and we were eating at the food court, and my personal favorite still is the pretzel, that soft baked pretzel with big grains of salt on top. So I was eating my pretzel. I don't like the cheese though. It's got that yellow stuff in it that gives you a migraine. And he said, "Oh yeah, I really like you, Heather." And I told my doctor about you. My doctor likes you. And I'm thinking, oh, he's getting counseling. Well, that's cool, because I was getting counseling too for my depression. And he said, "Yeah, even the voices like you." And I'm like, "What the hell?" And I said, "Oh, voices. How many you got?" And he's like, "Oh, several." And he goes in a little detail. And that song "Runaway" had not come out yet, but that's what was running through my head. And I went, "Why, hello. Look who's back. No, I don't need a dog." Who's that big dog? He looks okay though. I think he's somebody's pet. He gets out. There was a Chihuahua earlier. But middle of the day, I'm not freaking out. And he looks pretty tired anyway. He's not gonna bother me or her, whatever it is. So I went home and I took it to God and I said, "Okay, Lord, what do I do here? I need to get out of this relationship." And God reminded me that I like to smoke. And in my high school, there was actually a smoking area for the students. That's how crazy it was. And he would go over there and smoke with his friends every day. So, and God basically said, the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it. I just got a leading, we'll call it. So I got a leading from the Lord to get all self-righteous and make him choose between me and smoking. And, the Lord would handle the rest. So I did that the next day. And, oh, I can't be with you if you're smoking. And I don't want to kiss him out that sometimes smoking. And I said, oh, fine, F you. And he walked off and he started smoking with his friends. I'm like, yes, Lord. So that was the second guy. The third guy was Ron. And I married him. And he was very charming and attentive at first. But he was showing a lot of big red flags that I'd missed because of my disability. I don't always understand interpersonal stuff, which is going to lead to my apology later. He was saying some very scary things, and like he was investigated for abusing a little girl, that he had a restraining order for hitting a woman, that he had hit more than one girlfriend he had been with, but they, quote, had it coming, the one because she was always acting so fearful, and that he had blackouts, that he was a problem drinker, but he wasn't drinking anymore, and just getting involved with me in a non-biblical way before we were married. So, yeah, a lot of red flags. And it was bad. So that was my dating history. Now, since Ron died, there was a guy at work who was very flirty with me, but he was mainly interested in what kind of candy I had in my vest. Literally, I carried the candy with me at work. So that ended pretty quick. They fired him, I think, for something else. He was lazy. I can't respect a lazy person. So, so that was that. And then about a year after that, there was a guy at work, and he came over and he was chatting me up, and he was impressed I was able to pick something up or whatever. And I said, well, I used to lift weights. He's like, oh, what kind of workouts did you do? And I was telling him. And I said, I ran a half marathon too. And he just was like, oh, mad respect to that. And, oh, you're so cool. And, can I get your number? Are you single? I said, sure, why not? So I gave him the number. And then he started texting me, you're so hot. And I'm like, oh, boy. So, yeah, I ended that pretty quick. And he ended up quitting. I don't know because I rejected him or what. But at the time, I was like 250 pounds, very sloppy, gray hair, I'm not even my idea of a sex object back then. So, and I had a lot of issues I still had to work out. So, and then, these are basically guys I gave my number to since Ron died. And then there was another guy. He seemed interested, I thought, but after I gave him my number, he's like, well, you're as old as my mom, I'm not interested. Like, okay. That was unpleasant for me. And today I gave my number to somebody else. It falls in his court. If I embarrassed you, I'm very, very sorry. That was not my intent. And somebody gave me his first name. I didn't ask. So I wasn't like going around asking what's his name. It was dropped in conversation along with a couple of other names. So, yeah, that is my history here. And I don't know how much of this is the fetal alcohol. I think a lot of it is. But, I'm not always good at reading people, like romantic interest. I can't figure that out at all. So, at least lately, so...